Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so excited to have you join us today. We dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea of living your life and running your business with a servant's heart so you can truly make a difference. And the show was created to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you to follow that path of a servant's heart and to make an impact in your world. While listening to my great guests, I've spent 5-10 minutes with them, and you're going to be blown away by this guest. You're going to learn so much, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Get your pad and paper out because you're going to want to take notes. I want you to think about how you're going to serve yourself and others today and what impact you create today. And that key word again is today. As I always say, I talk to people and they're like, I heard that. I wanted to serve. I forgot about it. And I waited a month and started serving. And that was okay. But why not make your impact today and make a little difference in your world and just serve? And I want to thank my sponsor, Pantheon Alliance, which is a community of very successful business owners, entrepreneurs who are very high level in very diverse industries. They're building a thought leader community to impact and change the world. If you're interested in learning more about this community, reach out to me and I'll get you all the information on Pantheon Alliance. With that being said, my guest, he gets it. Those entrepreneurs, small businesses, they need how to run their business and they do too much. I talked to an owner last week that's like, I do my HR, I do my marketing, I do this. I'm like, dude, stop. And I introduced him a couple people. And Ernesto's going to meet him, I think, as well. We want to do too much and we don't want to spend money. So I want to bring my guest on. Ernesto, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Happy to be here.
I like what we talked about because you're right. You know, founders, especially startups and entrepreneurs, hey, I'm by myself, I got to do everything. And that's not correct. You've got your $1 million machine. It's an enticing title, enticing name for a company. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, when you look at the data, about 80% of small businesses are actually below the 7-figure number. There are solopreneurs. There are people who enjoy the freedom, they enjoy the comfort of working for themselves, but for many reasons, they don't seek to get outside of themselves, push the boundaries, and build their business. Maybe there's some fear, maybe there's some anxiety, maybe they just don't know how to. And I believe once a business surpasses that coveted $1 million mark, people start to take notice. Investors start to take notice. Mentors start to take notice. It says something about a business owner when they surpass 7 figures. And so my mission is to democratize business transformation and do that by helping more business owners not only get to that 7-figure mark, but surpass that and feel good while doing it.
That 80% number is staggering. I would have guessed 50 if you asked me that question. Why do you think it? I mean, you think it's all because of these, not how to run your business? Not all of it, but a big part of it.
I don't know if it's not knowing how to run our business. I think people in general are complacent, a majority of people. And so they'll say, I'm going to be a CPA, for example. And they start their CPA practice and they get their 50 clients and they're busy and they're making 200, 300,000 a year. And then it's tax season and then they're overwhelmed And then maybe they grow a little more, and then they're overwhelmed for tax season. And they don't even want to think about getting to 400, 500, because they just look at the overwhelm of being where they're at. And so whether you're a CPA or an architect or a plumber, you get to a certain point, you just can't even fathom what it means to go from 300 to 600, or from 600 to 800. They don't even want to think about it. They just kind of stay in their box. And so they stay comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. But the person wants to get out of the box. Let's use the CPA model, which is great. What would you do? So that Debbie, the CPA, comes in and says, I don't want to do 200,000 anymore. I want to go to $1 million. Well, what's your journey look like working with you?
So every client at MDM starts at the same point, and that is with the scorecard. And so the scorecard, it represents the 6 numbers around your future business. So you said, okay, $1 million is the future target. Maybe the future target is 500,000. To go from 200 to $1 million, that's a big stretch.
Okay.
So we say, okay, what is the revenue? Then we ask, what is the price of your service? And so we say, okay, revenue divided by price, you see number of customers. So that comes the first question. Can you serve this many customers? If they say yes, we'll say, great. What is the conversion percentage? And people at the 200,000-300,000, they probably don't know what their conversion percentage is. So we use a rough 30%. So we'll take your number of customers. Let's say you needed 100 customers to reach that goal. We divide by 30%. So now you need to speak with 300 people. So that next question is, can you speak to 300 people? No, I can't. Oh, why not? Oh, because I don't have enough time. Okay, maybe you need a sales assistant. But let's assume they can speak to them. Let's just kind of take you through the 6 numbers. We ask the question of, what is the percent of people that are on your email list that have booked a call with you? And again, maybe they don't know, maybe they're not keeping track. We say 10%. Just as a conservative number. So of the 300 people, that means you need an email list of 3,000 people. So these are the 6 numbers that we kind of map out around their future vision of their business. And just through looking at those 6 numbers, we figure out, okay, what part of the business do we start implementing systems for? Is it around serving more customers? Is it around having more sales calls? Is it around having more emails on a list?
So that's powerful. You develop a customized system, in this case for Debbie, the CPA. So you actually help figure out their goal. Cause I just said $1 million and I always think big numbers, which is right. It's probably hard, but then you go, oh, hey, Steve, it's not 1 million, but look at the numbers. Here's the data. It's showing us 500,000 achievable in a year. To keep that customer or client in perspective of the right goal. You probably love people with dream goals like, hey, I want to do 10 million, but you also have to be very, understand those goals, right?
Yeah, you definitely have to understand. I mean, sometimes to go from 200K to $1 million, let's say, maybe you need to look at the main core offering and actually totally re-engineer it. So it's not realistic to say, oh, 200K to $1 million. It involves some of that re-engineering, because there's a lot of change happening inside of your business model all at one time. I mean, we're introducing project management and email and automation, and oh, now you're changing your business model. And people are kind of afraid of change. Now you're getting in the way of how they make money. It's a very sensitive, delicate balance.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I always, encourage people, what is a realistic way that you want to change, and let them kind of drive the experience.
And your value add, which is huge to me, can be very complex. You come in from the 30-foot view or that third party looking at all these numbers and these services and different things they're doing to get them more in line with what they want, right?
Yeah, and not just getting them in line with what they want. My background's in hospitality, and the main reason why people go out to eat at a restaurant, I don't know if you knew this, the word restaurant comes from a French word, restaurer, which means to restore. And so people go out to eat because they want to feel restored. They want to feel rejuvenated, regenerated. And so when it comes to helping people move through change, you want them to feel like they're, or I want them to feel, I design my experiences for them to feel like they're at a 3-star restaurant, 3 Michelin star restaurant, not 3 Google star restaurant, but, you know, feeling taken care of, feeling heard, feeling understood, accommodated, that, you know, they're really going through this best in class change management experience, which normally it's kind of a dumpster fire when implementing change.
That's a really cool story. I like that. And I used to work at a restaurant, cook and run a restaurant. So you're right. People came in, they were energized, they'd leave happy because they got fed, but they had a great experience. And I love that you use that with your business, because you're taking them through an experience and eventually to an incredible goal that they're going to reach. What do you think the biggest challenge is for entrepreneurs right now, today?
I think people are overwhelmed. I think there's many reasons behind the overwhelm, but someone listening right now, you know, a quick test we can examine right now if you're overwhelmed or not is open up your internet browser. It's like, how many tabs do you have opened?
Interesting.
You know, like most people have like 25 tabs open. Why? I don't know. But I believe, you know, they're trying to hoard onto information. They're holding on to ideas of the past, curiosities that once were. They're kind of carrying all this baggage with them in the future. And what I teach people through my methodologies is around, okay, how are we setting goals, completing them, process, and archiving them? How are we starting up projects, completing, archiving? How are we receiving feedback, integrating it, archiving them? It's about being so present with life as it's happening and having an integrated way to feed it back into your business so that you can grow and flow and be present with what's unfolding.
Yeah, I look at my 15 screens open and my I guess I gotta hire him, I think. No, and it's a great point because it's distraction and focus. That's one of the big things in decision making. To me, entrepreneurs, one of the other things they do is decision making. What's your thoughts on that indecision?
I think entrepreneurs, I mean, they started a company. They made the biggest decision of their life, which is like take ownership over your path, which is great. The next like biggest decision that they can make is deciding how they are going to deliver a transformation to a customer. If you go to any talented chef worth his weight, and a chef that's confident in their experience, who's gone to cooking school and who spent 5 years or 10 years working their tail off in a restaurant, you know, when they open up their restaurant and they serve the pasta with the meat sauce, when you go to their restaurant, like they will serve you the pasta with the meat sauce in the way that it has 15 years of experience, like really well prepared in there. And they know exactly how to deliver that. Now, a customer who wants to add Parmesan cheese, fine, like great, this is America, you know, we meet customers' needs. But the chef designs the plate, like he designs the meal, and the customer adds, you know, a little sparkle, their own sparkle on top. But the chef decides how it's made. And so I believe most of entrepreneurs, especially in this kind of early $300 to $1 million range, they still, you know, they're calling it product market fit, and they're not wrong, but they don't have the cojones to say this is the transformation, or at least this is the prefix promise. Now, if you want to add on to the prefix, fine, but this is the prefix. I'm not going to keep adapting my meals to meet your needs. This is expertise level, and you know, you could add some Parmesan if you want to, but this is what you're getting.
Yeah, that's a great story because I'm thinking of a burger. We give you a flat burger and you get your potato or lettuce on the side, your ends on the tomato, mustard, mayo, you decide, but here's your burger, or in this
Burger.
case, a
Right.
pasta. That's a great story. Oh man, I'm rarely speechless. That's really good, because I could see the image. We all eat, so it's not like it hides from anybody. Everybody eats. You used the word a couple of times, democratizing access to business. Just explain what that means. I'm curious. I know what the word means, but using it in a very unique way.
Well, you just said it. You just said everyone eats, right?
Yeah, correct.
And so if everyone eats, now you have a common ground, a common language that you can use to create understanding with people. And so when as I'm putting together NDM and the training and the growth and the business systems and the transformation, these are very overwhelming topics, like, automation and process and structure. But when you tell it through a story that is relatable, you can now democratize access to understanding these concepts. You could now tell the entrepreneur, hey, focus on making the special beef patty mix for your burger, is kind of like the concept of, hey, create an outstanding offer with these 20 steps that remain unchanged, and they get it. They understand, oh, when you do the 20 steps, that is like pricing out a burger, so you have a profitability and there's this room, and if you want to add the onions, you charge this much, and if you want to add the extra sessions, you charge that much. People now can understand these concepts of change because you're using a relatable story. And so, I mean, just the story is one thing, but there's pricing and there's the way I design there's many other ways, but that's one example of how you democratize access to business transformation.
Well, I think it simplifies it for business owners too, and then what you need to do, because you said earlier they're overwhelmed. If you can simplify, okay, what's the story? Then we jump here, like you talked about the tabs. You got too many tabs, simplify it to one tab or two to make it so you can understand it.
Right.
So I'm excited about the $1 Million Machine. MDM sounds awesome. What's a memorable moment or story you have with a client you work with?
My favorite story is my client, Hugh, who is a coach. He is a coach. He is someone who has worked at Bridgewater, has gone to Harvard Business School, has completed the Leadville 100, someone who's very accomplished, who's done a lot of stuff. And he started his own business. And it's not easy for anyone to start your own business. It is an overwhelming experience. You're a fish out of the water. And we started working together. He did my initial accelerator program. And after, he hired me to help him scale his coaching offering. He was doing the situation where he sold, 10 hours, and he would meet with someone. He said, hey, I want to increase the value of my coaching. And so we took his lessons, his content, his wisdom, we turned it into a course. We put it online. We created email funnels to automate the delivery of that course to his clients. And so now whenever he signed a new client, he now was able to kind of include this knowledge as a value add to working with him. He was able to increase his price, and he was able to increase his capacity, because now he could take on 15 clients without having to worry. You just add the email in, and they're just going to start receiving the communications as needed. And he's just kind of showing up to his coaching sessions, feeling great and ready to serve. So through that that sprint, that 3-month sprint, we were able to set up his course, productize his service, and help him get to the point where he can take on 15 clients without a sweat.
You simplified the process for him. Am I correct? What's what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Because before it was a lot of okay, let me send you the link, and let me send you this, and let me send you the Stripe invoice, and there's a lot. No, the machine takes care of itself.
Yeah. I found out this phrase last week. You're a hope dealer. You're giving hope to small businesses. It's just that popped. It came from an addiction podcast I had, which is not an addiction, but you are, because I think that's part of the breakdown when we become an entrepreneur, start a business. I hope, we all do that. It's okay, I got 100,000 of my money into this. I hope it works. You come in and go, no, it will work, your faith and hope will be revolutionized.
My friend told me that I'm an insurance policy for any business.
That's a good one too. That's a really good one. How important, you mentioned it a few times, which I love. I think value is a missing piece in entrepreneurs and businesses. They don't understand that. How important is it to you when you work with an entrepreneur or business to bring that under, for them to understand what value they bring?
Well, it's key. I mean, we spoke about the scorecard earlier, and I invite clients to ground into the reality that there is a $10,000 product within them. Everyone has a $10,000 product. They may not realize it, but if you have a $10,000 product and you're trying to build $1 million machine, that equals to 100 clients. And so part of the one of the workshops that I give to clients is okay, create a 5-star service to earn 5 figures. So you need to recognize how can you deliver this 5-star service, because that's going to command, like, not only do you know something really well or something valuable, but like, how do you design an experience of giving it to someone, kind of like how I mentioned with Hugh, because now you can charge $10,000 for it, and you just have to find 100 people to give it to, and that's $1 million business. So people, can dig deep and figure out, like, okay, how can I make a $10,000 offer? And if they don't know, like, start with ChatGPT. Like, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah. That's the key. It's a starting point. You know what you just did, Ernesto? People driving just pulled over on the side of the road. People running just stopped, and people sitting down just stood up when you said everybody has a $10,000. And I totally agree with you. I know I do too. I like that you said that, because they're like, holy mackerel, I can. They can, but a lot of the time they need coaching, like you do, or they need advisement to do that. And I love that you do that. What's your superpower?
My superpower is turning you into a bullet train. What I mean by that, MDM, you said $1 million machine. At one time, it was $1 million machine. It still is. It's also $1 million momentum, mission-driven momentum. It is kind of this concept of, how are you acting with such intense fervor to keep going day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute? I'm expecting a child. I told you earlier, like, I am on it. And when I shared the story with Hugh, in 3 months, we totally transformed his product offering. It was just this back and forth of, let's build this, let's build this, let's build this. What do you need? Like, let's move. And that is kind of what we teach, what the deeper philosophy of MDM is all about, and what we do in our community. Like, the idea is turning people into momentum machines.
Yeah, that's so powerful. We're getting to the end here. It's went by way too fast. I've learned so much. You're just incredible, and you're a servant's heart, because using the value, you need to get value for what you offer, but your whole heart is, I want you to become $1 million machine. I can't say anybody that most people that make $1 million are going to be set for a long time, because they'll probably make more and grow more. But as I always say, and that's why I call you a hope dealer, $1 million is abundance. How many other people can you help when you have abundance like that? So it's powerful what you do, and I appreciate you. I like to end with like a fun little question here. So you've got a reservation at a restaurant, table of 4. Let's use that restaurant. You've got 1 chair. Who would you invite, dead or alive?
Oh, man.
Why? And what food would you order?
Wow. I would invite Seth Godin. Seth Godin, for those who don't know, he's a famous, he's a leader, a thought leader, I think in the self-expression space. People know him as a marketer. And I would actually make him a loaf of my challah bread and would ask the kitchen to turn it into French toast. And
Ooh.
I would order it because I'd just love to have an open-ended conversation with him on how I can turn my challah into a purple cow.
That's
So
great.
so that would be my dream dinner. Seth, if you're hearing this,
Yeah,
offer
let's
is up.
get Seth. Let's get anybody out there knows Seth. Reach out to me and I'll connect you with them. Again, Ernesto, this has been great. Awesome show. I'm so happy you spent the time with me and took the time to do that. How can people find you, connect with you, support you?
People can come online on my website. We'll have the link below. Grab your scorecard. I offer a strategy session to anyone who wants to crystallize their scorecard, really understand how they're going to pursue that future. And yeah, that's the best way to connect.
You know when I have a great guest is when they become a servant's heart at the end by giving free stuff away. I'm a big fan of free stuff. I don't, I talked to her, I don't want to give my IP away. No, give your stuff away. Help people for free. It will make you extremely successful. I think we're both living that life.
Amen.
Amen to that. Audience, subscribe to the podcast channel. And here's why, not because I want subscribers. They're great to have, but Ernesto, I've got a whole pad of notes here. If you didn't take notes, you're going to want to go back and listen to it. And it's so much easier to find somebody's podcast, especially on YouTube, if you subscribe and just find it. The other thing is, somebody that's in that $300,000 $1 million range and started a business or it just has been in business, send this to them. Let them learn how Ernesto can help them become millionaires in a very short time. The other thing is, comment on the YouTube channel, critique this podcast. If there's a comment for Ernesto, I'll get it to him. Don't worry. If you need to connect with them, I'll put everything in the show notes. I'll make sure you can connect with him as well. And with that being said, me and Ernesto want to thank you all for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.